So what were some of the other hard lessons that you had to learn in this process?
How to deal with a new set of clients that weren't used to our level of technology and our level of our fast-paced environment. We are about 3 times as busy as his firm was. Getting in to see me, you're not going to call up today and come see me. Managing the expectations of them and realizing and getting them to realize the advantage of using our client portal to communicate with us, to share documents with us, that not everything needed to be done on paper. There was a number of files that we had that we took over where he was handling paying the property taxes and those types of things for a trust. And it made no sense to me why he was responsible for that and not the trustee. So getting those people on board to take over their own and be responsible for their own trusts, when they're the trustee rather than making us do it, because what he was charging for those services, I can't do. I mean, we just can't with the overhead do that. And so those people really need to take on their own responsibilities. And it's been an uphill battle getting them to understand that you guys are more than capable, should be doing it rather than paying me.
Yeah, for sure. I would imagine, like you said, some people may be listening and thinking, okay, well, I don't think I hope I'm not going to take over another person's practice after they've died. You never know what's in your cards. But it also sounds like now that you're thinking of acquiring new practices and having these opportunities, you're sort of looking at it differently. You're thinking about the business differently based on this experience. And I guess I'd be curious, what that looks like and how you're approaching it now.
So thankfully, I got involved with Lawyerist in October of 23, which has really allowed me to get systems and processes in place and push me outside of my comfort level. Before I took over that practice last year, I had been in Lawyerist for about 2 months, and they helped me make sure that I had my employee onboarding manual and those types of things, which when you're bringing in new staff is important to have. We've worked a lot on, setting our goals and our kind of our vision. And that has helped, really narrow down what things we want to be involved in and how, finding practices that align with those types of things. And so the one that I'm working on right now, I'm looking at it different is, how can we be in a partnership in, over the next 2 years to make the transition easy? That office is about an hour and 45 minutes from my current office. And so it's not like I'm going to be in that office on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. And so, we're dealing with some technology issues, trying to find the correct form to be able to meet with clients down there, to, still have a physical presence down there with the staff, but me not be there all the time. How to bring in my associate to meet with those clients, for the matters that I don't handle anymore. And so that's kind of been a new strategy. Some of the things that have been brought to my attention by some of my colleagues that have done this is, when you take over the practice of an attorney that is actively practicing, you have to look at their trust account, and you have to draw a line in the sand and says, okay, as of this date, your trust account will no longer be used. We will be using my trust account. You want to make sure that they've complied with all the rules in regards to the trust account so that you're not opening up a can of worms when you take that over. One of the horror stories I just heard from one of my colleagues is he took over a firm and they had never closed or made a case in our electronic filing system with the court inactive. And they had like 6,000 active cases that were showing up in the electronic filing system. And so he said that was probably one of the biggest struggles he had was trying to figure out what was actually pending, in the courts and which cases were still open and which ones had been closed.
Yeah. Wow. It's such a simple thing that you kind of forget to even think. You just, again, assume we know what that word means, but it's like, yeah, you're going to close your files with the court and then they don't. And now you have a huge mess.
Well, and that has led us to, because of that, we now have a system in place that says when we close the file and receive the final bill, we go into our electronic system and we close it and make it inactive. I mean, we can still find it, but it's no longer showing up in our list. And so that, that those lists are still manageable when you look at them and you're not dealing with cases that, there's been no activity in 10 years.
Right. No, makes sense. Very cool.